Now let's move on to the next micro market of Delhi NCR, which is Gurgaon, and we are calling it Optimistic Gurugram, as new micro markets are on the rise. So let me welcome our moderator of the session, Mr. Mudassir Zaidi, Executive Director, North, Knight Frank India. In a career spanning more than 20 years, Mr. Zaidi has held multiple roles within Knight Frank, and currently he is responsible for managing the North India region and its growth. Prior to this, he managed the Pan-India residential agency portfolio, including sales of new homes, prime resale, prime leasing, and international project marketing. And he has also been national head commercial leasing and handled major transactions in office leasing and outright purchase for large corporates. Let me introduce our eminent speakers of this session in an alphabetical order. I welcome Mr. Amit Gehlot, founder and CEO, PropertyExpo.com. Out of his rich 17 years of experience, Mr. Gehlot has dedicated 10 years to the real estate. He has helped bridge the gap between technology and real estate via the brand PropertyExpo.com, the new age property tech company backed by AI and ML. Amit Gehlot is also a pioneer in conducting on-site project training for large sales teams and training capsules for different projects of different developers. Our next eminent panel member is Ms. Ananta Raghuvanshi, Senior Executive Director, Sales and Marketing, Experion Developers. Ms. Raghuvanshi is a PhD in marketing management. She is a leader with an indelible contribution of more than 30 years to the real estate industry, having led and launched over 100 successful products. Previously, she has been executive director at DLF, chief executive at MGF, and country head and senior director DEMAC. Our next panel member, let me introduce Mr. Rahul Singla, Director MAPSCO. He's a qualified graduate from London with MBA in marketing. Mr. Rahul Singla came on board in 2010 and heads the sales and marketing division along with the new business development. He envisions enhancing product offerings to the customers with the best quality. Our next panel member is Ms. Renu Singh, President, Sales and Marketing Space Group. Ms. Renu Singh has over 16 years of experience across luxury sales, marketing, retail leasing, commercial leasing and sales, group housing, township, channel management, team management, corporate presentation, and customer relationship. She has been involved in marketing and launching the projects in international markets such as USA, Canada, Shenzhen, Hong Kong, Macau, Dubai, and Singapore, among others. Our next and final member, let me introduce Mr. Vivek Singhal, CEO, Smart World Developers Private Limited. With a career spanning over 2 decades, Mr. Singhal is accountable for the company's overall sales, marketing, construction, and CRM efforts, and is responsible for the organization's overarching strategic direction and priorities. He has previously assumed key leadership roles for major real estate brands such as M3M, Tishman Speyer, Bharti Realty Limited, RMZ Group, DLF Limited, and others. So this is our eminent panel who will be discussing Gurgaon real estate. And Mr. Zaidi, I hand it over to you now.
Thank you very much, Sapna. We have a very illustrious panel today, and I think very, very experienced people who can really give us a great insight in terms of our topic for today, which is Optimistic Gurgaon or Optimistic Gurugram, new micro markets on the rise. Let me start with giving each of the panelists maybe a couple of minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to start with their opening remarks, and following which I will then come to specific questions to each of the panelists, and then we can take it from there. Can we start with Mr. Vivek Singhal?
Hello, everyone. So, in my belief is that we are now heading towards a boom time, and I strongly believe that whatever has happened in the last 7 years, right from 2013 to till up to 2020, is a thing of past. I think I see a lot of capital appreciation happening in next 3 to 4 years in the real estate, and I see a lot of buoyancy coming our way. But I think parallelly, what needs to be looked at is that there will be a lot of demand coming towards the people who have a higher credibility in comparison to what used to be the situation in the past. So, anybody who has a credibility in terms of the delivery track record, anybody who has a credibility in terms of how the product needs to be designed, because we have come a long way. You know, for example, when we all started with the telecom revolution about 20 years ago, you know, we had first 1G, 2G, 3G, and, you know, today telecom is almost there at the 5th generation. So has the buildings have also evolved. So has the products have also evolved. So I think as long as we are looking towards the future in terms of coming up with the products which would suit the requirement of the new millennials, I think we'll be able to have the products right. And if the products are right, I see no reason why we'll not be able to, you know, catch that demand. That is the point number one. Point number two is that there is a huge pent-up demand which got created because of last 4-5 years, wherein, you know, there was very little or a very, you know, limited number of the projects which got launched. So I think both the factors will coincide, and it would lead into a situation wherein you will be able to see a huge demand coming our way. So we have to just gear up for that and, you know, get our act right.
Great, very, very apt and relevant opening remarks. Can I come on to Ananta to make your opening remarks, please?
Yes, Mudassir, good afternoon. And hello, Renu and Rahul, and of course our audience. I don't want to repeat what he's just said, so let me make it a little interesting. I think pre-pandemic, we were doing foxtrot, walk, side together, back, side close. Then during the pandemic, it was waltz, we were revolving. And now we are very excited. I think we are getting into a completely salsa zone, which is 160 to 250 beats per minute. So I think super exciting times ahead, undoubtedly. Resilience and resurgence. Resilience is the second name of reality. I think, and the spine is patience, it goes without saying. As far as resurgence is concerned, it definitely needs triggers. We need triggers like Reality Plus to keep us on track. And I think it's Reality Plus is like that Chaya train. You know, we had panel 1 as another bogey and panel 2, and we are the third bogey post-lunch. I think this panel has also been put together post-lunch only because we are a very resilient panel. Like you said, there are experienced people sitting on this panel. So I think real estate is all about resilience, resurgence, and it just needs patience.
What an interesting way to describe reality that way is. But I'm sure it can only come in from you, Ananta. Moving to the next panelist, can I request Renu to give her opening remarks, please?
A very good afternoon to all of you. First, I would like to thank Team Reality Plus for providing me this opportunity to be part of this panel discussion, along with my seniors, reality experts, I would say industry legends, and my idol lady, Ananta ma'am. In fact, I would never ever thought that I would be on a panel with her. And I'm sure today I'm going to learn a lot from this panel discussion. As our discussion today is on Optimistic Gurgaon, a new micro market and rise. So what I feel, Gurgaon is one of the most lucrative real estate destination. And it is completely a planned city, which is divided in 3 zones. So left side is our left side of NH8, right side of NH8, and south of Gurgaon. So on the left side of NH8, we have golf course extension, golf course road, multiple phases of DLF, then Southern Periphery Road. Right-hand side, we have Old Gurgaon, Central Periphery, NPR, New Gurgaon, Dwarka Expressway. And third is our south of Gurgaon. So what, in my opinion, I would just brief on the topic first. So in my opinion, the upcoming and developing new micro market on rise would be Dwarka Expressway. Dwarka Expressway is one of the major growing residential and commercial destination in Delhi NCR. All the big reputed developers we can see have acquired land bank, huge land bank on Dwarka Expressway. Many of the luxury projects have already been delivered and many are in pipelines. Builders like Shobha, Experion, ATS, Raheja, Tatas, they have already delivered project. And earlier, if we talk about Dwarka Expressway, there were many hurdles which were delaying the project. Now, after the visit of our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji and Gadkari ji, they have assured that by end of 2022, this expressway would be fully functional. So what I think that this is the best time to invest on Dwarka Expressway, as huge potential is there in this market. And now question comes in our mind that why Dwarka Expressway? Why not Golf Course Road? Why not Sohna? Why not New Gurgaon? So what I personally feel, friends, Golf Course Extension, New Gurgaon, Sohna, all are good and promising micro market. But Dwarka Expressway would be on much rise. Reason being, first thing comes is the connectivity. Dwarka Expressway is well connected to Delhi. IGI airport is hardly 20-25 minutes from the Delhi-Gurgaon border. And it's very near to airport. It's a perfect destination for the NRIs to invest here. Dwarka Expressway having a parallel 75-meter road would be diverting 60% of the traffic also. And International Convention Center, this IICCC is coming, which is being developed as a smart city by our government of India. And it would be ready in operational. First phase would be operational next year. And this IICC would be operational in next 3 to 4 years. Nearing sectors 112, 113 have diplomatic enclave also, where 39 embassies are coming. Sector 114 and 88A are developing as a purely commercial destinations. Then 115 is coming as an institutional sector where work is happening day and night. So if we see today, of course, yes, there's a bit of commuting problem. But if we see the future of Dwarka Expressway in next 2 to 3 years, it will be the ideal investment destination with premium appreciation, location benefit, easy connectivity, and social infrastructure in place. Now I won't be taking much of time. We can move on to the other person.
That was Renu really going all out for Dwarka Expressway. I'm sure some of the developers on the panel will be very happy, but some might not be. But moving onwards, can I request Amit to give his opening remarks, please?
Hi, Mr. Jabi. First of all, good afternoon to you, Ananta ma'am, Rahul ji, Vivek ji, Renu, ji, Tripti, and everybody who is listening right now. So basically, I've been into this real estate, focusing on Gurgaon for the last 11 years, and I've seen these all areas from Dwarka Expressway to Sohna to New Gurgaon to Golf Course Road. I've seen I'm selling like anything for the last 11 years and training people, training myself also, because to train somebody, you have to get ready first and then you can train. So basically, Gurgaon is all about the blessings of Almighty, because Gurgaon has something charismatic in it. Because यहाँ पे बोलते हैं कि मिट्टी कब सोना हो जाए, you never know. So if we talk about last 10 years of Gurgaon, we have seen 2 master plans. पहला आया फिर दूसरा आया, but somehow Gurgaon की जो connectivity का problem था वो sort out करने में लगी रही government, and right now ये बहुत तेजी से इसको कनेक्टिविटी पे जोर दिया जा रहा है और नेक्स्ट 5 इयर्स गुड़गांव को बिलोंग करेंगे। उसके 2 रीजन है बहुत बड़े। एक तो सब जानते हैं कि जॉब्स आर देयर एंड एवरीथिंग, एवरीबडी lakhs of people are on an year coming to Gurgaon like anything, and यहाँ का जो per capita income is also very high. So and तो यहाँ पे जो हाउसिंग और कमर्शियल का रिक्वायरमेंट है बहुत बढ़ना है। तो सबसे मेजर प्रॉब्लम ड्रॉबैक गुड़गांव का ये था कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं था। तो नोएडा से लोग कंपेयर करते थे, वहाँ पे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, यहाँ पे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है, फिर भी प्राइस हाई हैं। बिकॉज यहाँ पे सबसे बड़ी बात क्या है कि जो डेवलपर्स हैं यहाँ पे, they are big developers in the sense because they have large land banks. The land is quite expensive. So connectivity पे अभी जोर दिया है गवर्नमेंट ने, एंड 5 years गुड़गांव को बिलोंग करेंगे। उसका रीजन है कि नेक्स्ट 5 years, अभी हमें गुड़गांव को बोलते हैं मिलेनियम सिटी, बट अभी 5 साल लगेंगे और 5 साल में फ्रॉम द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे टू सोना रोड, बादशाहपुर चौक और गोल्फ कोर्स रोड और SPR कनेक्टिविटी, ये जितनी भी चीजें हैं आप 20 मिनट में एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जा पाएंगे। और उससे सबसे बड़ा फायदा ये होगा कि जो ट्रेवल टाइम है, बिकॉज कहीं भी आप वर्ल्ड में जाइए, बिकॉज वहां पे ये नहीं दिखा जाता कितने किलोमीटर्स हैं आप। इट्स ऑल अबाउट द ट्रेवल टाइम, इट्स ऑल अबाउट द मेट्रो कनेक्टिविटी, इट्स ऑल अबाउट द commercial connectivity. तो गुड़गांव में 20 minutes from any point of Gurgaon in next 5 years one can reach. And सबसे बड़ी बात जो होने वाली है वो ये है कि गवर्नमेंट की जो पॉलिसीज अभी आई हैं, चाहे वो दीनदयाल हो, चाहे वो अफोर्डेबल हो, तो उससे एक पब मिला है। जो छोटी जमीनें पड़ी रहती थी जिसको लॉन्च नहीं, पहले क्या होता था 11 एकड़ ये चाहिए, कमर्शियल में इतना चाहिए, आज के इसमें जो ये स्कीम्स आई हैं और इसमें जो प्राइस का कैप नहीं है, तो उससे जो बड़े डेवलपर्स भी हैं उनको एक सपोर्ट आया है कि कहीं ना कहीं हम जाकर के इसमें मैं आपको कहूँगा कि जो जो मेजर डेवलपमेंट है जिससे ग्रोथ आएगी वो देयर आर 2 थिंग्स। जब वो जो पैचेस होते थे 5.5 एकड़, 8 एकड़, 7 एकड़ जो किसी भी यूज के नहीं हुआ करते थे एंड उसमें डेवलपमेंट करना बहुत मुश्किल था, छोटे प्लॉट्स में डेवलपमेंट करना बहुत मुश्किल था, रजिस्ट्रीज नहीं होती थी, बट अभी गवर्नमेंट ने लीजेंसी दिखाई है, एससीओज में दिखाई है। अब देखिए द मार्केट इज फ्लडेड विद ऑल दीज स्कीम्स एंड दीज एससीओज एंड सबसे बड़ी बात, कुछ बहुत अच्छे डेवलपर्स ने कोशिश की है कि एससीओज को बिल्कुल हाई स्ट्रीट की तरह मैच किया जाए और जो दीनदयाल स्कीम्स हैं उनको बिल्कुल लग्जरी सेगमेंट में लेके आया जाए, जिससे कि एक अच्छी लोकेशन पे जहाँ पे 3-4 करोड़ का रेट है वहाँ पे कॉम्पैक्ट लग्जरी दे करके, और वो 1.5 करोड़ के अंदर में आप सोचिए कि गोल्फ एक्सटेंशन में नोबडी कैन थिंक ऑफ कि भाई ग्रैंड हयात के सामने आपको 1.25 करोड़ में कोई प्रॉपर्टी मिल सकती है, कोई सोच भी नहीं सकता। बट ये वो ट्रेन है जो निकल चुकी थी 10 साल पहले और अभी वापस आ गई है। लेकिन मैं आपको एक चीज जरूर कहूंगा कि बीइंग कॉर्पोरेट हाउसेस जो कि आ गए हैं गुड़गांव में, उसके अलावा जो यहाँ के होम ग्रोन डेवलपर्स हैं, ठीक है, वेदर इट इज स्पेस, मैप्सको, एसएस ग्रुप, ऑरेस, बेस्टेक एंड ऑल दीज, बिकॉज बहुत लंबी लिस्ट है, तो यही लोग हैं जो गुड़गांव को गुड़गांव बनाएंगे। कॉर्पोरेट हाउसेज आएंगे, बिरला है, गोदरेज है, इवन डीएलएफ को भी हम कॉर्पोरेट हाउस में आज की डेट में काउंट करते हैं, बट ये जितने भी लोग हैं दे हैव डेवलप्ड। आप देखिए, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट मैप्सको, न्यू गुड़गांव में कितना बड़ा, देखिए आप कासाबेला का जो लोकेशन है, एंड राहुल जी अभी है मेरे साथ में, तो माउंट विले एक एग्जांपल है, उस प्राइस में वो प्रोडक्ट देना, एंड सेम विद अनंता जी मेरे साथ हैं, तो इनसे अच्छा तो मार्केट को कोई देख ही नहीं सकता आज की डेट में। एक्सपीरियन इज आल्सो डूइंग रियली गुड ऑन द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे। तो मेरा जो मानना है वो ये है कि अभी एवरी पॉकेट ऑफ गुड़गांव विल ग्रो, वेदर इट्स गोल्फ कोर्स रोड, इट हैज आल्सो बीन ग्रोन, एक्सटेंशन इज आल्सो बीन ग्रोन, एसपीआर, लेकिन जो सबसे ज्यादा ग्रोथ होगी वो जो अपना द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे है उसका जो दिल्ली वाला पार्ट है, फ्रॉम 102 से लेके और 1113 तक, और उसमें सबसे मेजर पार्ट जो प्ले करेगा वो 114, 115, 109, 113 एंड 108 ऑल्सो। तो ये जो पूरा पैच है ये डोमिनेट करेगा, बिकॉज वहां से जो कनेक्टिविटी है दिल्ली की, और वहां से गुड़गांव आना भी आसान है, बिकॉज देयर इज अ लूप ऑल्सो देयर। एंड अगर अभी लोगों को लगता है कि यार वो एरिया कवर करेगा, लेकिन नो वन कैन बिलीव विद इन 8 minutes यू रीच न्यू गुड़गांव। तो उसके बाद जो मेजर रीजन आएगा वो आएगा सीपीआर। ये 3 किलोमीटर का बेल्ट है, उसमें जो भी प्रॉपर्टी आएगी वो बूम करेगी, बिकॉज अगर हम आईएमटी मानेसर की स्टोरी देखें, गुड़गांव इज ऑल अबाउट क्या कि इधर उद्योग विहार, इधर आईएमटी मानेसर, डेवलपमेंट आया, कॉल सेंटर इंडस्ट्री आई, डॉलर का प्राइस ऊपर गया, तो ये सब चीजों की वजह से गुड़गांव बना। तो इवन एक रिक्शा वाला और एक सब्जी वाले ने भी यहाँ पे अपने घर बनाए, तो मैं बड़े लोगों की तो बात ही नहीं करता हूँ। तो दीज आर द थिंग्स विच रियली मैटर्स। तो गुड़गांव 5 साल कोई स्टॉप नहीं कर सकता है। तो आज की डेट में मैं जो स्टडी करता हूँ, मेरे हिसाब से 4 मार्केट्स इंटरनेशनली, जिसमें से गुड़गांव का बहुत प्रोमिनेंट रहेगा। आप देख सकते हैं कि लैंड का कॉस्ट, एक प्लॉट जो 50,000 रुपए पर स्क्वायर यार्ड होता था 1 साल पहले, वो आज 1.25 लाख पे ट्रेड हो रहा है, एंड पहले कोई खरीदता नहीं था। आज की डेट में लाइन। तो गुड़गांव एक ऐसी मार्केट है, यहाँ पे अफोर्डेबल भी बिकता है, यहाँ पे कैमिलियाज भी बिकता है, यहाँ पे क्रैश भी बिकता है, यहाँ पे हार्ट सॉन्ग भी बिकता है, यहाँ पे विंचेंस भी बिकता है, और यहाँ पे माउंट विले एंड कासाबेला भी बिकता है। ठीक है, सो सारी मार्केट से थोड़ा सा न्यू गुड़गांव स्टेबलाइज हो गया है, बट न्यू गुड़गांव का एक अपना एक रूल है, बिकॉज दैट इज द एरिया विच हैज बीन developed almost, and it has been surrounded by 4 major highways. So New Gurgaon has a very special role, but if somebody is entering now, तो उनके लिए इतना कुछ नहीं है. तो जो आज आना चाह रहे हैं उनके लिए सोना एज अ मार्केट बहुत ग्रो करेगा. बिकॉज होता क्या है कि जो अभी न्यू हाईवेज आ रहे हैं और 12 घंटे में आप मुंबई पहुंच रहे हैं, कॉरिडोर आ रहा है, प्लस IMT जो सोना है दैट इज 1500 एकर्स. अभी तक वो क्यों नहीं चला, उसका रीजन ये था कि वहां पे लैंड का जो वाटर है, वाटर इज सॉल्टी, तो वो थोड़ा सा वहां प्रॉब्लम है. अदरवाइज जो कनेक्टिविटी है, तो वो सोना, मैं कहूंगा कि जितने भी रियल एस्टेट एक्सपर्ट्स हैं वो सोना के ऊपर, और इवन उसका नाम भी अभी साउथ गुड़गांव है. तो देखने वाली बात है कि द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे एंड सोना एंड न्यू गुड़गांव में SPR का लेफ्ट हैंड साइड जो NH8 के है, वो एरिया इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए बहुत बूम करेगा, एंड यूजर्स के लिए बूम करेगा. बिकॉज अभी पकड़ में है, आप 1.25 करोड़ में एक अच्छी प्रॉपर्टी रहने के लिए आप खरीद सकते हैं. प्लस कमर्शियल इज ऑल्सो अंडर कंट्रोल. आप एक बहुत अच्छी शॉप 40-45,000 रुपीज पर स्क्वायर फीट में ले सकते हैं, जो कि एक्सटेंशन है गॉल्फ कोर्स रोड में 1 लाख के ऊपर चली जाती है. रेडी टू मूव इन अगर मैं बात करूँ 75,000 चली जाती है. तो मेरा मानना है कि जो मार्केट वॉच करने के लिए किसी भी इन्वेस्टर को इस टाइम वॉच करनी चाहिए, वो न्यू गुड़गांव का लेफ्ट हैंड साइड 78, 76, 79 ये जो एरिया है 70 एंड CPR 36A जो वहाँ पे अभी सुमिटोमो इज देयर, देन 84, 89 ये जितना भी पैच है ये भी बहुत ग्रो करेगा. बिकॉज DLF इज कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग, अदर डेवलपर्स आर कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग, एंड जो सबसे ज्यादा एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं, जो कि 12 साल से एक्सपेक्टेशन रही हैं लोगों की कि शेयर आया शेयर आया शेयर आया, तो अभी शेयर आ गया है लेकिन कोई विश्वास नहीं कर रहा है, बट शेयर आ चुका है. तो द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे विल बी देयर. Okay.
Right. Amit, thanks for sharing your opening remarks. Can I come on to Rahul so that I can we can quickly conclude the opening remarks, or I can come on to the actual questions after that. Yeah, Rahul, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mudassir and Reality Plus team for the opportunity. I think Gurgaon has been always very optimistic as compared to the whole Delhi NCR. So, I mean, the last decade between 2010 and 2020 had been slow for the developers, as market saw only 19% growth in NCR as compared to 38% in top 7 cities. But again, this is not a very big number for the realty sector, as people perceive it to be very high value market. And then gold and property always have been, the safest bet. But unfortunately, this property did not appreciate in the last decade. So, but nonetheless, demand was very constant in the Gurgaon market, and new projects and development was very less. So the demand remained constant. So today developers have survived the recession, and they're charging ahead with renewed energy because bad days are gone. Believe me, as everyone said, the bad days are really gone, especially for Gurgaon. And they survived too well to come back even stronger and louder. So moreover, post-COVID, all sectors, including residential, commercial, warehousing, especially the industrial sector, have grown tremendously. Infrastructure at nation level is going at, at pace like never before. So for Gurgaon also, and the realty sector has taken entirely different turn, as everyone said, especially Deen Dayal and all these schemes, new schemes by government is very, upturning. So they have touched every point, the SPR, NPR, KMP, Delhi Mumbai corridor. Everything is, I think, bringing appreciation to the Gurgaon market. Also, very few launches as a process. Gurgaon to launch a new project, it is, it's a lengthy and very high capital process to come up with a project in Gurgaon, as you have to buy the whole land in advance and then apply for the license, and it's a lengthy and expensive procedure. So there had been very, very less launches in the recent years. And then pandemic has also increased the residential demand for obvious reasons. I think, And moreover, there's a study by Anarock which says that around 8,410 units were launched in NCR and in the third quarter of 2021, ending this September only, and out of which 65% of the share was from Gurgaon. Imagine the 65% share was from Gurgaon. So again, I mean, if you look at the sales figure also, then also Gurgaon contributed about 38% amongst NCR sales. I think it is quite interesting, isn't it? So we are staring at the market which is continuously growing. Even in the recession years, it kept on, constant or growing. It never fell off. Like Amit ji said, शेर आया वाली बात है, but गुड़गांव मार्केट के लिए देर से आया दुरुस्त आए. अब और भी अच्छा बहुत market trades 50,000 से it has gone up to 1 lakh and 1,25,000 per square yard. If we talk about plotting, we are for I would say vertical housing अभी उतना increase नहीं है, but yes, for definitely for plotting it has gone more than the double. The effect is more than the double. Thank you, Mudassir. Over to you.
Thanks, Rahul. I think all the panelists from their opening remarks, I can really conclude and understand that everybody's certainly very, very bullish on the real estate industry, specifically for Gurgaon. And I think the major points that I've come across is that infrastructure has really or rather in earlier times as well, and in times to come, will play a major role in terms of whatever new micro markets, existing or new micro markets, will get strengthened and come up. Let me come to my first question and to Vivek. Vivek, I very recently saw a LinkedIn post from you as well, and largely you were talking about plots being the major preference of buyers. And this is what I see as well, that plotted, low-rise, where lower gestation period projects, where it can get, started off and completed and delivered very, very soon, is something that people are looking at. What do you think is the longer-term impact of this buyer preference? Is this something that you see lasting for a very, very long time? The markets really went towards vertical for a very, very long time, and then have now come down to all these low-rise, plotted, etc. Do you see this as a long-term impact? And secondly, how do you think this will impact the overall developers' plans and their portfolio mix in times to come?
So, Mudassir, this is a very good question. I must say, the point is, how do we plan a development? As I said in my opening remarks as well, I think product is going to play the most important role in terms of how we transform the real estate sector over a period of next 5 to 10 years. See, what we have always seen traditionally, there are 3 types of communities which you will find anywhere, right? One would be the villa community, the second would be the floor, and then last one would be the apartment. And different communities have offered a different type of usability to the end user. So for example, when you will talk about floors, they will be the most efficient. When you will talk about the villas, they will be the most expensive. And when you will talk about the apartments, they will fall somewhere in terms of they will be little expensive than floors, but they will be less efficient than floors. So it's something which we need to solve. And if we are able to solve that puzzle, I think then there is a very good chance of a success for any developer. So, now if I were to look back, in terms of what we did, and, just for your information, in just 1.5 months, we've sold more than 2,000 crores of inventory. So it's a large number. So, and for a debutant player like ours. So what are those things which we got right in our product mix is what makes us a business case in terms of what most of my development friends can actually, look at. So the point is, when we were talking about floors in the past, so, they were plagued with the following problems. So you always had a parking problem. You always had a security problem because they were not, so they were given, they were developed by people who were doing 2 floors, 3 floors, 5 floors at a point of time on a different set of plots. So first was the parking, because it was not organized. So unlike apartments where you'll have a dedicated car parking, if you have 2 car parks, then you can plan it accordingly that way. The second would be the security. Third would be the power backup. So, unlike, for example, DLF used to have exclusive floors way back, they did in about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Similarly, Unitech did few of the projects, but most of them were never developed as a floors. So the trend was more towards the apartment. Third was time to the market, because the advantage of doing a floor is that time to market, from a developer's point of view, my return on investment, if the money which I've put into a project, if that money can come back to me within a span of 18 to 24 months, then my ability to sell the product, even if I have to sell that product at a lower price, is much higher because I am running a lesser risk in comparison to running a project which will run for 36 months or 48 months. So that's the third parameter. And finally, I would say, then the things which differentiate a different class of products is, what are the kind of the power backup you're giving? What are the centralized abilities you're giving? So I think if we can come up with a blend of a product which meets all of these, and we can come up with a product which makes all of these in a manner wherein, we are able to enjoy the product and we are able to come up with a product. So in my view, the floors are here to stay. But what I'm not saying is that apartments is not going to be a product which will not sell. So, because as my previous colleagues have said just here, all the product lines will coexist. And that's the nature of Gurgaon. So there is a room for everyone and there is a opportunity for all kind of products. The only point is that what fits into your business plan better is what is going to decide the future. But having said that, I think what floors are offering today is, I'm saying there is an opportunity to have a terrace space. There is an opportunity to have work from home space. There is an opportunity to have higher efficiency. You can get a power backup today. You can get a centralized parks. You can get a nice club. So I'm saying all the ticks which were there in the apartments earlier are there already. But in addition to that, what we were getting in the villas, for example, even if I buy the best of the apartment, for example, Golf State. So I will have a limitation of the space in terms of terrace. So, there is no opportunity for me to do a bonfire in the winters, or, if you have elderly parents, they want to really enjoy the sun, they cannot do that because at the end of the day, apartment will have only 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours of the sun. Whereas on a terrace, you can always enjoy. So there is a idea which we need to look at, and there are things which we need to correct in our planning. If we are able to address these issues, I think then, it makes a perfect product for the market to have. So now coming back to your specific question, whether the apartments are here to stay, trust me, they will, because they are also an interesting product category. It meets a specific requirement for a different clientele. Floors meets a requirement of a different clientele. So does the villa. So all the products will coexist. But for a millennial who's a first-time home buyer, I think the easiest entry for them would be the floors. For somebody who's looking for a really top-end luxury, maybe a villa would be the right product. But considering the way the prices of the land are going up, it becomes very difficult for somebody to have a villa. So they'll have to settle with a luxury apartment rather than looking for a floor. So it's going to be a nice combination of the product line, what meets the requirement of specific people.
Vivek, tell me, do you think the developer's credibility and track record will play a major role for the kind of product that people will take up? So maybe from what I understand is that maybe larger developers with established track records, who have multiple projects that they have delivered per se, maybe they will be relied upon for a longer gestation period, which would be probably apartments, etc. And maybe the others who obviously whoever has managed to survive the pandemic, etc., and has continued, you think they will largely then get relegated towards the floors and the plotting schemes?
Not really, because see, again, I would say is that, for me as a Smart World, for example, or, my previous stint was with M3M. So in both the cases, I would say, I think it's not that the floors are having a lower gestation period. So obviously they will become a more practical product, or they will result into a higher buoyancy in the market, or it's a safer bet for the developer. I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say is that there was an unaddressed demand in the market for last 6-7 years. because density norms in Gurgaon were such that, you know, the smallest size of the apartment or the average size of the apartment, which you can make in any group housing society, would be about 1800 square feet on a sellable area. So if 1800 square feet sellable area, even if you sell it for 6,000 rupees a square feet, you're talking about a product which upwards of 1 crore. And everybody, I'm saying somebody has a salary of 15 lakh rupees, obviously they'll not be able to buy that as their first time home. But the same thing, if it gets addressed through a, you know, a floor, which can be 1100 square feet, and, you know, if it can be sold at 5,000 to 6,000 rupees a square feet, the entry barrier for a buyer comes down. So there is a huge volume there. And that demand was, in the past, was met by markets like Faridabad. That demand was met by markets like, you know, Noida or Greater Noida, because these were the markets where there was a plenty of supply, which was downwards of 1 crore. And some of my previous colleagues have just said that, you know, in the morning, you can see a huge traffic coming towards Gurgaon. In the evening, you see a huge traffic going out of the Gurgaon. So that was exactly what was happening. I'm saying, if you really look at Gurgaon is the largest hub in the entire North India in terms of migration, but people were not able to afford it. So what these products are doing today is that they are helping people to buy. And if you really go back and see, you know, in last 5 years or 6 years, the way the affordable housing has done in Gurgaon, I'm saying, and you talk about a product and it got sold out overnight, you know, the reason was precisely the same, you know, because there was always a demand at the bottom of the pyramid, but we were not able to address it either because of the regulations or because of the higher land cost or because of the time to market product. So I'm saying the end result is that, you know, if you're able to meet the specific requirements of your target segment, if you're able to get your TG right, I think you will be able to, you know, do it well.
Sure. Thanks for those insights, Vivek. I'll come to Ananta. Ananta, you know, infrastructure, we talked about infrastructure. Almost every panelist agreed that infrastructure will play a major role in terms of how things will progress going in times to come. Some of the you know, projects which have been delayed for a very, very long time, be it the Dwarka Expressway, the expectation is that that will possibly come online in a year and a half or so. You have the new infrastructure which has come faster than, you know, some of the older ones like the Sona Highway, etc., and many others which have, you know, been planned by the government. What, in your opinion, you know, will make that impact, and which markets do you see and which micro markets do you see gain prominence due to these completions?
Right, Mudassir. Mudassir, if you remember a few decades back when we met and you were telling me, you said, you know, the cities always came up along the rivers. Later on, the cities came up along the highway. You know, even if you see DLF City, it came up because NH8 was there and, you know, it kind of moved, and therefore, you know, suddenly Palam became less attractive and DLF City became more attractive. So also today, the cities grow, the cities expand, and the new markets are always a lot more interesting in that sense. So whether you look at Dwarka Expressway, which is super exciting because it's just 15 minutes from the airport. And, you know, like Vivek ji just said, you know, the demand for plots has also gone up because people are doing future planning. Today, they are already living in one house and they say, okay, let's pick up plots. Even in fact, Experion, we have a 100-acre township called Westerlies. It's so beautiful. And during the pandemic, all the plots which were sized, let's say 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, sold out. So now we've got 550 to about 1,200 square yards. So that is how the markets grow. That's how the markets change, you know. DLF City, when I used to go for site visits some 3 decades back, you know, I mean, आपको दुबई जाने की तो जरूरत ही नहीं है. जून के महीने में जो लू उड़ती थी गर्मी वाली, and there was just one Atlas factory there and some yellow row houses which DLF had made back then. From there to today, I mean, that's your cyber city today, you know. I mean, so cities grow. Now, what happens with infra delays? It's a terrible thing to happen when these roads get delayed. And there are 4 stakeholders majorly who get affected in the marketplace. You know, one is your long-term investors. Those, of course, who stayed on definitely make a killing by hanging on. Then there are end users who can feel good that, okay, my address is that much richer or more attractive. Then there are the developers, who actually bleed because they are holding on to stock. Depending on how much they've sold earlier and how much they've sold later, I mean, that's a very tricky balance. Definitely they sell it at a higher rate than what they sold at earlier, but there's a time value of money too. And that's where the resilience factor comes in, which I spoke to you about. I mean, how responsible the builder is, how sustainable and how secure are the vendors and employees and everybody in that given scenario when you are just waiting and watching. There have been 2 to 3 years when literally no sale was happening on Dwarka Expressway because nobody wanted to put more good money after bad money. But today it is flying. Now today, if you see our average customer, in our previous panel, I don't know, Mudassir, if you saw that or not, Mr. Deepak Kapoor from he said every
Ananta can't hear you. Is it a network issue on her side? Everybody else is able to hear me?
Yeah, I think it's a network.
I think Ananta's network. I guess we'll come back to Ananta. She couldn't finish her answer, but I'll come back to her when she comes back online. But coming to Renu, Renu, can you tell me, compared to earlier times, in your opinion, how has the buyer mentality changed towards developers and projects that are currently on offer? And in your opinion, the adaptation that developers will have to bring into their new projects to keep pace with the changing expectations of the buyer? And what do you think are the challenges and potentials to that?
Zadichi, now the scenario is totally different. If we compare with last 2 decades, earlier real estate was developed.
Somehow I got bogged out. I'm so sorry about that.
Ma'am is here. Ma'am, please.
Yeah. So sorry about that. Those are some of the things about technology. So in fact, in the previous panel, they said we just crashed on the surface of the digital transformation. So that change has come along. Now so I spoke about the long-term investors, I spoke about the end users, and I spoke about the developer. Now the 4th category is our channel partners, which is our brokers, our influencers, and they are the ones who are having a party. Because for lesser effort, they are taking home a lot more. And of course, with Vivek ji and others making efforts on these foreign trips and so much other. So it's not just about money, it's also about the mood change in the marketplace. So at that time, it did not happen. But today it is happening and better than ever before. So that's where the resilience and the resurgence story comes in. And of course, the prominence part that you're talking about. So Dwarka, Sona, Noida, Xavier Airport, Amritsar, Lucknow, Chandigarh, these are all high growth markets. And there are so many others where religious tourism and NRI travel and all of that is also going to be giving a kind of huge push. And of course, accelerated digital transformation has helped. New work realities have helped. There are trimmer offices, there are slimmer teams. And when you talk about what changes have been brought about and the resilience involved in this, and because of this delay, what further has happened is, like the FAR increases, that's a trigger. Registration charges reduction, that is a trigger. These are important points. And also, Mudassir, whether it's you or I, we've all looked at our people, processes, and performances, during this period. So now it's not penny wise, pound foolish. It is penny wise, pound rise, So that is also a game which real estate has learned, which was a lesson, which was somewhere lost out in these years. So I think the infra delay, of course, is not a good thing. But overall, there's a silver lining in the cloud. And I think it's very nice the way the group has steered out of it, the entire Realtor fraternity. I think that is quite beautiful and quite a stupendous performance. I mean, everybody has sold so much. So we've got that much smarter.
Thank you, Ananta. Glad we got you back.
Mudassir, before you take it forward, I think Mr. Rahul Singla needs to leave because of some personal emergency. We just received a message. So, Mr. Singla, thank you for being here with us for some time at least and sharing some of your views and opinions. Thank you so much.
All right, Rahul, we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. Sorry we couldn't hear you, further thoughts.
I think I can wait for another 5-10 minutes.
If you can, then I'll, Renu, if I can have your consent, I can just ask Rahul.
Please, Rahulji.
Yeah. Please. Thank you.
So, Rahul, so my question to you is, in your opinion, with the real estate market consolidating towards larger developers across India, and the numbers that we have is that proportion of listed developers, which was only about 6% of the projects about 6 years ago, is about 22% of the overall proportion. How do you see the developer model changing going forward with such a change in scenario?
I think today the market scenario has changed. It is more inclined towards developer with deeper pockets. As you know, the project can stretch a longer. It can take a long time, and there are some policy paralysis. At times, there's a change in the policy, there's a say by the court. So a developer with deeper pockets can take over the projects. And there have been few stalled projects in the past, primarily due to the funds, exhausted funds. Now what to do in that scenario? I'm sure everyone knows this answer, yeah, to complete the project. But how to do it with shortage of funds? It is easy to say it, but it is very tough when you are in crisis and you have to manage the funds. So I think answer to this is to join together with somebody who can pump in required funds. The thumb rule is either have sufficient funds or execute the project, or find out a partner wherein he can pump in the money and jointly you can deliver the project. So JDs and JVs are quite in Gurgaon's market also. Otherwise also in Delhi NCR especially. So the most important thing is to complete your project is cash flows and transparency, I would say. So today lenders like NBFCs and especially international funds are willing to pump in money, provided the credentials of the project legacy of the developer is clean, and they have given they have security collaterals from other businesses. That's where big names and listed developers they come in picture. So consolidation is happening at larger pace. Bigger listed players are encashing the opportunity by collaborating with small players. And I think this is leading to more and more cash flows in the prevailing market, boosting the share of big players. That's how I think your question answer itself. It says 6 to 22% in a matter of just 5-6 years. So not only that, even non-listed developers have ramped up their share from 11 to 18% in around 3 to 4 years. Also, the government policies, I would say, like Deen Dayal and RERA is a welcome thing. Then GST reduction is a good attraction for customers also. So overall, the compliances is being maintained by larger developers. So that's how I think larger developers are quite in. So infrastructure boost is also an important thing. While second part, entry barrier in the business as a developer, especially Gurgaon market, has gone way up as capex is very high. And moreover, French players have also realized that it is not everyone's game. So most importantly, customer is also interested in buying with the brand credentials, with a good track delivery, the way you said, Mudassir. And therefore, no new developer, or very less new developers are coming in easily. So organized developers and listed developers are going up. I think the number should double up in another 5 to 6 years. Over to you, Mudassir. Thank you so much.
So you're expecting that this trend will continue and the larger developers will continue to get stronger, the smaller, or rather the market from a fragmented market where we have hundreds and hundreds of developers, this will get consolidated towards the larger ones. That's your opinion too.
Definitely. But maybe by the way of joint development, joint ventures, there are two requirements. One is local regional developer is required for the obvious reasons, local licensing, local licensing thing and everything. And then there's a big name required who can, come up with the a lot of funds, and they can make the project without even selling it and delivering it. And people are also interested in branded homes nowadays.
Understood. Understood. Thank you, Rahul, for that. I won't keep you much longer. If you have to leave, please, have the liberty to do that.
I'm sorry, I have to leave. There's some emergency in the...
Sure. We'll be in touch. Thank you for joining in. I'll come to Renu. Renu, I'll repeat the question that I asked you earlier. Compared to the earlier times, how has the buyer mentality changed towards developers and the projects that are currently on offer? And the adaptation that the developers will have to bring into their new projects to keep pace with the changing expectations of the buyer. And what do you see as the challenges and potentials there?
Now, if we see, the scenario is totally different. If we compare it with last 2 decades, earlier real estate developer-driven market was there, but now it's a customer-driven market. Since the inception of RERA, customer feels that their investment are fully safe and secured. Earlier, what was happening in some cases, what builders were doing, they were selling the property, they were instead of utilizing that funds in construction of the project, they were using that funds for buying more land. Diversion of funds were happening. So since inception of RERA, developers started putting that funds in escrow account, using 70% of the funds for constructing of the project. So what happened was developers started focusing on completion of the project and timely delivery started happening. And this has built the trust of customers towards the buyer. So first thing was RERA. Second thing, the most important thing, where government is supporting the buyers. Like if customer is not being handled properly, then they have dedicated forum to complain against the malpractices. And government is also more active, and they are helping buyers to get their money back in case what developer is not completing the project or time, or developer is not adhering his commitment what he has made to the customers. Third thing, since last couple of years, we can see property prices has remained stagnant. Not much revision has been taken place in last 5 years. With reduction rate in interest rate, home loans, maximum residential के जो buyer होते हैं, 90% buyers are the buyers who go opt for home loans. So home loans भी अब cut down हो गया है. So this is the best opportunity for the home buyers to buy the property, and this has increased the sales in residential sector. And now developers, seeing the current scenario, the second wave, first wave, pandemic, seeing all these scenarios, developers have also come towards, developers are also focusing and launching new schemes for the customers, just to gain the trust of the buyer and give them security against their investment. New technologies are being introduced in construction, like MyOne technologies, which was earlier not there. Earlier brick buildings were there. Now this technology, this has cut down the construction time in half, when if we compare with the traditional approaches. And housing even more, it's even more accessible to the general public, because construction पैसे कम हो गए हैं, मनी नीचे आ गया है, एडिशनल सेविंग होने लगी है बिल्डर्स को. Now, what are the adaptation that developers, this was the second question, what was the adaptation that developers will have to bring into their new project to keep the pace with the changing expectations of the buyer? Now, if we talk about the adaptation for new project, after seeing the second waves of COVID-19 pandemic, to meet the expectation of the buyers, developer needs to think out of box ideas and schemes. What we did after the first wave during lockdown, we launched the first ever scheme in Indian real estate market, that was in COVID-19 insurance scheme. यहाँ क्या था कि in case, God forbids, in case of any mishap, unfortunate death of the customer due to COVID-19, after making a booking amount, the balance load will be on developer. This was the scheme which we floated, and it was successful hit in the market. People got assured that ki, if in case I book a property, somehow kuch ho jata hai, main nahi rehta hu, then who will make the further payments? Liability will go to my family. In that cases, we have taken the liabilities on our end. Recently, if I talk about Space Group, we have multiple of commercial project. Sare ready commercial project the, but commercial and ready where we have received the OCs. We are the builders. In pandemic times, we have received around 7-8 OCs in commercial project. So commercial project का OC भी आ गया. हमने कई सारे brands को भी lease out कर लिया. But due to this pandemic, retail ने आके possession नहीं लिया, offices ने possession नहीं लिया, cinema ने भी अभी possession नहीं लिया है. Seeing the current scenario in the retail, now they have already started. But this I'm talking is for the last year. So what we did, we launched a new scheme. That is called DMI scheme, double monthly scheme. जिसमें कि हम बायर्स को कमिटमेंट कर रहे हैं कि आपकी प्रॉपर्टी रेंट हो या ना हो, वी आर गोइंग टू पे यू 9% रिटर्न पर एनम फॉर नेक्स्ट 3 years एज अ सिक्योरिटी. So by giving this example, it means that we need to think from customer point of view, how we can benefit them. And as things, I would say, are unfortunate, we don't know what is going to happen next. कुछ और आ जाएगा, क्या होगा? So looking at the long perspective, we need to change our way of working, new technologies to be launched, new construction, not construction, but also I would be saying property design, purchase procedure, other building technologies should be introduced. Now, what we developers are doing, we are investing in a lot in technologies. We are focusing on digital launches. We are doing 3D property viewing, virtual tours, design-based product, virtual property exhibition. In this case, what is happening, local buyers or NRIs, it is easy for them to take a decision to finalize the property without flying to India. For NRIs, it's very easy. And what we have seen post second wave, the demand for luxury, safer, bigger home is increasing. First time buyers are looking for affordable, plotted, gated community, as said by sir, to build an asset and move on from rented. They want to move on from rented to their self-owned property. Luxury segment buyers are ready to pay more because they have seen in this COVID time, they have seen कि घर में रह के क्या-क्या उनको चीजें मिस कर रहे हैं. जैसे अभी मैम ने कहा, सर ने कहा कि plotted floor से वो villas में shift होना चाह रहे हैं. They want better amenities that improves the quality of their lives. They want to move into self-sufficient societies, where the health, safety, and wellness of the residents are at the top priority ladders, I would say. And if I talk about the
I have a very interesting question, Renu. I would want your opinion. In fact, all our speakers' opinion. We have this interesting question here. Is that with the Haryana government now reserving jobs, 75% jobs in private sector for locals, is there going to be an impact on real estate, or is it going to be significant? Mudassar, if you'll ask this with all our speakers, that one-line answer as we are running out of time. What first of all, what do you feel, Mr. Zaidi? Is it going to be a significant impact?
I don't think there will be a very significant impact. In my opinion, one is that obviously there is some kind of a restriction. Markets don't like restrictions that way. A free market is always welcome, but any kind of regulations which bring about some level of restrictions will have some effect. But because it is only prospective and only for a certain kind of employee within within the corporate sector, under 30,000. So my sense is the impact on offices, on some kind of offices, will be far higher, especially BPOs and all that, which have salary bracket which is nearer to that count. But in terms of the kind of real estate from a residential perspective that we see, I don't think that's the kind of people that most Gurgaon real estate really caters to, and therefore the impact on Gurgaon real estate will be very, very low, I would say. So I don't see a huge impact overall.
That's reassuring. Ms. Ananta, another question that I, in fact, mentioned you earlier also, there are a lot of comparisons which happen with Noida, for Gurgaon, and with the new Noida International Airport coming, is Gurgaon ready for that comparison? Is going to again an effect on Gurgaon real estate? Your one-line answer on that, yes or no, or is it going to be not that significant?
It's a tale of two cities. I can't give you a one. One is my Matrabhumi, the other is my Karmbhumi.
Okay.
You have to give me more than 1 minute. So what's common in both the cities is the road safety, malls, hospitals, school, university, and of course, to a certain extent, even the cost of living, entertainment, clubs, all of that. Now, what is not common is that the corporates are all in Gurgaon and the jobs are in Gurgaon. And therefore, the propensity to spend is a little different. Also, when you look at a second investment, the rental returns that you get in Gurgaon are also different and very good. Now, Xavier, the airport of India, and of course, the jewel of India, as they say, plus this whole cleanliness thing, which Noida has just got awarded in spite of being a 30, 40-year-old city. These two things, it's a perception thing. If we can keep up with the new trends, so whether it's student housing, warehousing, data centers, reality has so many triggers. And of course, most important being jobs. If all of that, it catches up, everything else, it's already caught up, then there's neck-to-neck competition, which is already happening. There are already very good and very big corporates which are there. So it's a tough, healthy competition. World Cup hai, jeet hi jana chahiye.
It sounds good for the end users at the end.
If you want a one-line answer, that was the one line.
Yeah, that's right. So, Mr. Singhal, what would you like to add? As Ms. Raghuvanshi said, it's a tale of two cities. So, do you see it's a win-win for the end users with two cities coming up so close to each other in terms of good infrastructure, good properties?
So, in my view, I think the biggest point which we need to always look at, and I think it will address both the questions of one which you asked Mudassar as well. The point is critical mass. So real estate is a support function. It is not the lead function for any business. And when we look at the industry, we should look at the industry from the point of view of the critical mass. So for example, today Gurgaon has the largest car manufacturing facility in the country. 50% of the cars are manufactured out of Gurgaon. Similarly, if you really look at mobiles, 50% of the mobiles are manufactured out of Gurgaon. Similarly, if you look at garment export, so I would say would be among the top two or top three in the country. Similarly, if you really look at IT, I'm saying we are among the top 3 in the country. So the point is that we have a critical mass. Right. And anybody who's migrating out of North India, anywhere, I'm saying you talk about Meerut, you talk about a city like Chandigarh, you talk about city from Himachal. So the first preference for anybody who is a North Indian would like to come to Gurgaon rather than going to Bangalore or Hyderabad. I'm not saying that they are not great cities, but I'm saying there is always a cultural difference. Right. So what it results into is there is already a critical mass. So for example, if somebody wants to set up an automobile manufacturing company, they are left with no choice. Either they have to go to Chennai, they have to go to Pune, or they have to come to Gurgaon, because the ecosystem exists here. So when we talk about there is a embargo in terms of a certain type of the jobs has to be given to the people from a certain domicile, my view is that fine, it will have an impact, but the impact will be mellowed down and it will take some time, before it will actually have an impact. I'm saying it will not happen in 2 years or 3 years. It will take, good 10 years or 20 years. Similarly, if you really look at talking about airport, I'm saying it's a great thing to have 2 airports with a distance of 100 kilometers. But having said that, I think airport is not what is differentiating Gurgaon from Noida. I think what is differentiating Gurgaon from the Noida is the economic drivers. And in Gurgaon has the best economic drivers after Bangalore or Pune in India. I'm saying these are the only 3 cities which can compare in terms of the strongest economic driver. And that's the reason why we have the highest
economic drivers is what Mr. Singhal says. And I think Mr. Zaidi also agrees to it, that the economic drivers, as Ms. Ananta also said, that people are working here in Gurgaon and staying in Noida, so that is the kind of, business opportunities are there. But it's again, both the cities are coming up well. Amit, yours and Renu, we'll take final this thing from both of you, viewpoints.
Vivekji has put the right trigger.
Quick ones before we call our next panel members. Yeah.
So there is no comparison between both the cities, because dynamics, drivers, बिल्कुल different हैं, thought process different है, देन यहाँ पे जो फ्री होल्ड प्रॉपर्टी है उसका एक चार्म रहता है कहीं ना कहीं एक बायर के माइंडसेट में, जॉब से प्लस गुड़गांव इज स्मॉलर देन दैट एरिया, नोएडा ग्रेटर नोएडा, तो हमेशा यहाँ पे डिमांड रहेगी and it will be a premier address after Delhi because India में Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Gurgaon, so Gurgaon will be at 3.
So Gurgaon remains a premium address after Delhi, is what Mr. Amit Gehlot has said, and that will be the charm that will remain.
Why,
Sapna,
why after Delhi? Delhi is thriving in chaos and floods.
No,
okay. So Gurgaon has overtaken that.
No. In your Chaitya train, the first panel was Delhi, second was Noida, third is Gurgaon. How come?
Actually,
Renu, you get to be the tiebreaker. You know, what do you have to say about Gurgaon?
देखिए, reality से हमें भागना नहीं चाहिए. We belong to Gurgaon, so but it is reality. It is the powerhouse. Delhi is the powerhouse of India, and it will remain a powerhouse. And Gurgaon will support that powerhouse with all the amenities, all the, you can say, a power of real estate from Gurgaon will support Delhi. Okay. And obviously, in infrastructure-wise also, Gurgaon will...
okay, Mr. Amit Gehlot is all for Gurgaon. So thank you so much. I think that was a very fantastic session we had. Thanks, Mr. Zaidi, for bringing out those wonderful viewpoints, about how the real estate, is set to, as we said, it's an optimistic Gurugram, and how we are going to see the next few years, the development in this particular region. Thanks, Mr. Vivek Singhal, for being here. Ms. Ananta, as always, entertaining us and giving us, some, very interesting anecdotes. Thanks, Renu, for being here with us, sharing your thoughts as well, and Mr. Singla for being here for some time. He had to leave early. But thank you so much, all the speakers, for sharing your time, sharing your views, and being here with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sapna, for being us.
Thank you very much.
All the best to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.